Careless with Cash, the Empire.
And we're back, episode 14 of World Soccer Daily, an Arc Soccer Collective original. I'm your host, as always, Kurtis and Dupe. Here, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm here with my buddy Dupe. How you doing, man?
What's going on, boss? How are you?
I'm good. We had a great weekend of soccer. A lot to talk about, actually. We're going to start with the MLS, get into 2 games over there, talk about the EPL, which we're going to have a lot to talk about in terms of refereeing and everything going on. And then we'll end with La Liga, discussing happenings and what's going on with Lamine Yamal and his hat trick.
Sound like a plan, my brother.
All right, well, let's start with the MLS. The Philadelphia Union are making me look like a fool because I had them. At this point, I thought it would be a 2-0. We're talking about Kayvon Sullivan becoming that guy, but struggles are continuing. They lost to New York City FC 2-1. Decent game. I do have a great takeaway on Tavon Gray, but what did you think of this game initially?
I mean, it was a back and forth game, kind of how I expected it to go for our last interview, our last episode.
Yeah.
I did say that if NYC does figure out how to score, to me, they were the better defensive team out of the two, and they showed that. I think Philly's still trying to figure out their identity right now.
Yeah.
They lost some pieces last season. I mean, from last year that they had going into this season. Now it's just an adjustment because it is a younger group. And so, yeah, they're feeling those early losses. I think it's going to take them a couple more matches to figure it out. And I think, again, Kavon's got to be playing more consistently.
Yeah. Well, now, what do you make of Tavon Gray? Because I was watching him kind of closely for a couple of reasons. One, Bronx native, New York City FC, but he's also a Jamaican international as opposed to playing for the United States national team, which I think we'll end up kicking ourselves in the long run. But what do you make of his play in that game? Because he was, for me, solid in all stretches of the imagination. And I want to say, what do you think his potential is with the Jamaican national team based on his performance?
Put it this way. He has the raw talent. He just got to clean up his game. So for me, I think he still relies on the athletic side a lot, which does help him out. I think highest scale, he could be like Chris Richards and make that next leap if his passing range can be more consistent and his 1v1 consistency can be there. I think that's his potential. Like his ceiling could be going to the EPL and playing and being great, or just staying raw athletic the way he is and just staying in the MLS and doing what Palmer and everybody else has done.
Yeah. So what do you think about his potential for them in the play-in games? I think they're playing New Macedonia as the first game, and if they go through that, they'll have to play Congo in a second game to qualify for the World Cup. Do you think he's in the rotation for these games or even on the bench? Or
I think he's on the rotation. He definitely has all the tools to play either center back or outside back. So I think his versatility gets him a roster spot, and he's been playing leading up to the qualifying. I just think like I said, it's always his consistency in his distribution as an outside back for me.
Yeah.
That is always the sign of like whether he's going to play or not. Like, for example, I'm happy he chose Jamaica over US because he wouldn't play a seat or play at all in the US. If you're looking at Dest and Musa and all of those guys, he's not going to get playing time over them. He might have more athleticism, but he's not playing over there.
Yep.
Comparison to Jamaica right now, where he can play, he can get those games in, but I think he needs to take advantage of those games and refine his tools.
Gotcha. Because I remember discovering him somewhat. I'm new to Tavon Gray, but I discovered him last season, and I remember seeing him just tackling guys and talking smack the whole way. I was like,
listen,
seems like my kind of player.
Go back to footballer days. He go back to the old original footballer days from New York.
Seems like my kind of guy.
He's a player. A great player.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you definitely need somebody that's a dog like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Sorry, so let's move on to Orlando, Miami, which I'm gonna tell you right now, that first half, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the game we talk about for the entire podcast because Miami's struggling, but they figured it out. Hats off to them. I mean, obviously, when you have Lionel Messi on your squad, you're gonna figure these things out. But what do you make of that game and how they responded to going down early 2-0 in Orlando? It's a rivalry game, so it brings the best out of you. But what do you think?
I think they need to name that game Latino Heat. I mean, it was a really great fast paced game, like a real up tempo match. Again, Orlando's a team that has the ability to attack, but goalkeeper, backline flaws.
Yeah.
Miami is always going to leak goals. That has been proven time and time again. You just got to capitalize on not making the bad fouls where Messi can get his opportunity to score the goals against a bad goalkeeper.
Yeah. And he got some good goals on a bad goalkeeper, right. Let me tell you.
So, with that being said, Miami to me, they stole that victory from Orlando. Okay. They stole that. Because I think if you take away those fouls and those set piece goals, or it's either a 2-2 draw or Orlando leads. Takes away that.
Gotcha. There was a funny moment in there. I forgot his name, but I had it written in my notes that we had to deal with earlier. But the rookie from Michigan got a slide tackle on Messi, and you would have thought he scored 3 goals just then. But I was like, understandable. In the game, in the moment, if I stop Messi, I'm telling my great grandchildren about this for the rest of my life. So I could see the look in his eye of like, I did it, y'all. I did it. But I was thinking to myself, saying, I understand where he's cut. I understood the excitement and the joy of that. But I gotta give it to Orlando in that first half. They showed their toughness for a second. But I mean, I think on the return game or the game in Miami, I think in March, I want to say is when they play again. Yeah. I think May. I think they'll give them a little bit more of a run for their money now that they played them and they see what they have to do and work on. It's just that goalkeeper situation is always going to be up in the air, but great game minus the scoreline for me.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It was a fun watch. It was a really good watch.
It was a really good watch. It was really exciting. Like, people always talk about the MLS isn't exciting, but that's the type of game I like seeing from the MLS.
See, I'm going to say this. The people who say that MLS isn't exciting are speaking from perspective of Premier League in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, right? I'll say this. There's no way you can watch La Liga right now and be like, oh, it's always exciting. You can watch, the Italian league, Serie A, and say, oh yeah, this is exciting. There is no such thing as a top 5 leagues anymore. And to sit there and say, oh well, the MLS isn't exciting. It's really just the Premier League and the other teams. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't talk to me about all these tactics about the leagues and all of that. Like, nah, MLS is exciting. They have great young talent. They have a bunch of talent that's going to these big clubs. So it has to be exciting to somebody.
Exactly.
So that statement to me is just someone just speaking from a point of, oh, that's what other people say, not actually watching and saying, okay, yeah, this is actually watching it.
And to expand on that, not to mention, there's a lot of guys who are coming from the EPL to the MLS. Like, what's the guy from Newcastle, Amaran? That was, no, I'm sorry, he came the opposite. I'm sorry, but there's that type of movement. You see guys coming to and from all the time, so the talent is there. But it just has
every
to be
young Colombian, Argentinian, Brazilian, wherever they come into the MLS.
The pathway.
They're playing it for a reason. So you can't downgrade the league. Like, oh yeah, it's not. No, it is a good quality league. You get good quality players, young talent and older talent. That's just what it is.
Absolutely.
If you can sit there and watch a Saudi league match, or you can sit there and watch a Serie A match, you mean to tell me the MLS isn't exciting? You tripping. We ain't even gonna have that discussion.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. But let's switch gears to the EPL and let's talk about first United Crystal Palace. 2-1 victory for United, and I must say, I thought they were gonna bottle it after that first early goal, but they did. But hats off to them, hats off to the team, hats off to their coaching, I guess you could say, for coming back and winning the game. But there is a little bit of a what if on this referee in terms of the calls that were being made in that game. I want to talk about the penalty, or to me it was outside of the box, but I want to talk about that penalty call and what do you think of that? Because I feel like there was very marginally light contact at best, and I feel like any other game that's let go, but I feel like because of who was playing, there was a whistle. I don't know. I've just seen that call I've just seen that play be let go plenty of times beforehand. I just want to understand why that was called in this game.
I don't know why it was called, but I understand. Put it this way, I've seen that same call, like you just said, not get called, and I've seen it get called.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just one of those things where there is no consistency, and the parity on it is so far of a range. So it's like one game you don't call it, the next game you call it. So which one is it?
Yeah.
So to me, it's a referee judgment call, which then changed the entire game. And it took away that momentum that Crystal Palace was working with.
Mm-hmm.
It like popped their balloon.
Overall, how do you think Manchester United played though, collectively?
I mean, if you take away those moments, it was a back and forth game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they did anything that was like, oh yeah, they outplayed Crystal Palace. I think yeah, they turned it up once they got that equalizer, and then from there, Crystal Palace never recovered.
Gotcha. Now, I want to talk about a couple things with Manchester United. They're currently sitting third in the Prem, and hats off to them. We didn't think they would get to this point at this point of the season. But do you think they stay there? Do you think this is a Champions League qualification team, or do you think Liverpool and Chelsea can possibly edge them out and maybe have them back into the Europa League? Because I mean, hats off to Manchester United. They have come far. They have come back because Europa League was where I kind of thought they would ultimately be. Now Europa League is somewhat guaranteed for them, but it's about Champions League ball for them at this point. Do you
Right.
think that? Do you think it's possible, or do you think there's a let off at the end of the season and Chelsea and
I
Liverpool
think
will come
it,
through?
I think with what Michael Carrick has done, and to me, the season has been strictly based on Kobe Mainoo stepping into that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So if Kobe Mainoo ain't playing, they
No Champions League.
right. So I think for me, they can finish in the top three. I think Liverpool is a team to fall out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you rate Michael Carrick for this team? Do you think he's a consistent figure for them next year? Do you think they move forward with him? Do you think they go somewhere else? Should they give him a chance?
You know, it's a funny thing that you even ask that question because it's like, to me, the question becomes, do they respect Michael Carrick enough?
Exactly.
I don't think it's out of his ability to coach the team
Mm-hmm.
in that at that level, but it does Manchester United value him enough to give him that opportunity? Or are they going to give him the opportunity and then pull it the minute he loses some matches?
Or for me, I think Manchester United has kind of always had this way of them where they want to get the big name. So if there's a big name that they can possibly land in this summer, do you think they do that and say, okay, well, to hell with Michael Carrick. We have this guy now. We have
I
Jose
don't think it's a
Mourinho. We
I don't
have
think it's a big
whoever.
name anymore when it comes to coaches. Like just like in the time that we're in, I'm around what to me wasn't a big name,
Mm-hmm.
but they brought him in. So it's like, what are you really searching for? David Moyes wasn't a big name, but they brought him.
Every time I hear David Moyes in Manchester United, I think he should still be
So I
there
mean,
personally.
yeah,
But
but it's just one of those things. I mean,
yeah,
when they brought Old Gunner in, it wasn't a big name. It's
mm-hmm.
just a player that they knew. So
Yeah.
do I think they have trust in Michael Carrick? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Has he earned it? Absolutely. But it comes down to, do they value him enough? And then what I think is interesting is, and for any coach, is what does it do for Michael Carrick? Because what if they do decide to go get another coach? What then happens with him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Because
at the end of the day, even if he is gone from this team, there's no doubt in my mind somebody in the Prem or some
I don't
team
think
will
so.
pick him up. You don't think so?
I don't think
Why
so.
not?
Because the way how coaching is, those opportunities are very slim. And so we're talking about the Premier League. It's very rare. Like right now, Carrick's name was ever in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened to fall this way.
Yep.
And he made the adjustments. But if he didn't make these adjustments, nobody would be saying, oh, yeah, we need to give Michael Carrick an opportunity.
Fair.
You see what I'm saying?
But you don't think nobody's considering the fact that he did turn this around in the meantime? Because
I don't,
it was a quick turnaround. You got to give him the credit.
no,
It was a quick turnaround.
he's done a great job. I just don't think a lot of clubs are going to give him the opportunity. the way they should. I think he deserves it. Yes, I think he's proven himself. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think Amaram's ignorance has created this window where all it took for him to do was win a couple games and insert Kobe Mainu, and you're gonna get something out of it. And at least the team's gonna fight for him. And I think that's the part where that's what I'm sold on, is that the team is fighting for him. When you see players like Casemiro and these guys and Bruno stepping their games up for him in comparison to other coaches that have been there, even other big name coaches that have been there, I think Michael Carrick does deserve it. But I don't think United's going to give him that true opportunity the right way.
Gotcha. Now, what do you make of Crystal Palace sitting 14th in the Prem right now? What's to look forward to? What are they to look forward to next season? Because this season is put a fork in it for them at this point. They're just playing to play. There's nothing to play for. But what do you think is the future for Crystal Palace? Because I remember a couple of years ago they were trending in the right direction, similar to West Ham, but now it just feels like everything's kind of slowly eroding for them.
Well, it's not that it's eroding. They sold all that young talent.
Yeah.
When you look at, you lost Eze, you lost Olise, you lost Zaha, you're about to lose Mateta, your striker. You lost your starting center. Like, you lost Gallagher. You lost key players. Like, if you look at the last 3 seasons for them, they've lost their whole entire starting lineup twice.
Yeah.
So they are, in my opinion, they need to go back and find younger talent to bring back in and showcase.
Bring back Mandem FC.
Might as well at this point. Go to France and pick up 5 youngsters and come back.
Let's bring back Mandem FC one more time. That's always a good time for me. That was always a good time.
Yeah.
But let's switch and let's talk about Arsenal Chelsea. Arsenal did what they needed to do.
No.
They won the game.
No, they did.
2-1 against Chelsea. Now, this game was also very interesting to me for a couple reasons. Like we just mentioned earlier, there was a lot of grabbing going on in that box. Every single corner kick, and nothing was getting caught. I saw João Pedro get punched, essentially, and no calls were given. I want to talk about before we get into the actual game with Chelsea, let's talk about the inconsistencies, comparing that to what we were just talking about with Manchester United. Is there at some point where we have to, like, I want the EPL, maybe not just EPL, but maybe FIFA in general, to just have some sort of like referee meeting and like, look, we got to write down what is and what isn't, what constitute and what does not constitute fouls, and you have to see it, because there's too much that's open for interpretation for these referees, and it's only hurting the product, it's only hurting the fan, it's only hurting people's trust in the refereeing. What needs to be done in your mind?
To be quite honest with you, they already instilled this instant replay. So what was the point in having the instant replay if you're not gonna use it for fouls like that? So then what are we doing? What was all it spent for in having this system if we're not going to use it when it needs to be used? If you're going to say you cannot hold and grab in a match, and they're literally bear hugging, then where is the foul?
Hey, I was asking the same question, but
So, because if it was a World Cup, that thing is getting called. If it's Champions League, it's getting called. But now, are we looking at the referee pedigree? Is a match too big for you to make that call?
Yeah.
Because now we're sitting back here, like a day later, and we're like, all right, how do you not call this, but you call that? Exactly. Like, to call the PK in the Manchester United game, and then to not call Pedro getting
bear hug.
Too much love.
Bear hug. Yeah, bear hug. It was honestly the most ridiculous thing I had ever seen. And then, like, for it to just be like, even hearing commentators kind of like, it was just so off to me. It's just like off-putting, like, to see that type of thing happen in a game that big, especially for Arsenal, because it almost looks like you're giving the game to Arsenal. And I don't want to say that they were giving the game to Arsenal. I do think Arsenal at the end of the day fought for the victory. Granted, they got a little help. They fought for it. And that's coming from a Chelsea fan. So,
but I feel like Arsenal has won a lot of the games based upon set pieces.
True.
And it's been the same consistency in those games. It's been set pieces. It's been corner kicks. Yeah. So if I'm really looking at, this is why I think Arsenal will not win the championship. They will not win it.
Okay.
because when they face a team that they really have to play, it's just not there. And like
Yeah.
I've been saying before, I love Saka, but he not it.
Yeah, he was very. I was paying attention to him closely because we both said we wanted to have Saka have those moments. I thought this Chelsea game would be the perfect game for him to have one of those "this is my time" moments. He didn't really do much on the ball. He was very quiet, in
No,
my opinion. I also want to mention, not to switch gears, but Chelsea with these red cards. This is the 7th red card in the Premier League, 9th overall. Their lead. They now have the record for most red cards in a season, and we're not even halfway done. What has to be done with the temperament of Chelsea? I want to say is I want to put the responsibility on this on Liam Rosinha, but it's just like also I got to understand, I got to give him grace. He just got there. And Chelsea has been a whirlwind of coaches and a whirlwind of people, but it's just so much going on with this team, and they don't seem to be able to, they're not able to control themselves in moments where they need to control themselves, because they could have won this game. They could have won this game. They could have played a shocker. They could have been the heroes of the Prem, but they did not.
I think it comes down to consistency.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a bunch of young players all fighting for the same time, you're going to have emotional imbalance. And that's what Chelsea is right now. They're so inconsistent that, yeah, they're going to have reactions. They're going to have these bad moments, but their bad moments are so critical, they cost you a card. And they don't realize, oh, I just got a yellow card 10 minutes ago. Oh, dang, foul.
Yeah.
Red card. I'm out of here.
Yeah. No awareness whatsoever by Neto. None.
Yeah. So I think the fact that they're all hunting for these minutes, like, yeah, we're happy that you have all these players, but when you're not playing consistent, you're not aware of the they lose sight of the tactical part of the game where it comes down to like, oh, I just got a tactical foul. I can't afford another one. They get the tactical foul and then 10 minutes later foul the same guy again, same
Yep.
way.
Yep.
And be like, oh, I didn't do anything. You just got a yellow card.
Typical Chelsea, right?
Right. And so it's burning them in those moments. And they haven't figured it out yet because, like you just said, when you go through such a coaching shuffle and such a player shuffle on top of that, you have no consistency. When you're
Mm-hmm.
playing the teams that have consistency, red cards don't happen.
Yeah.
But when your lineup changes every other match and your player personnel changes every other match, that's what happens.
Yeah. And lastly, I want to just give another pat on the back to Liam Senior, because I'm one thing about Chelsea now that I've never had confidence in the past that I do now with Liam Senior is anytime we go down a goal, I'm not worried that the game is going to be lost just off that. Like, I never think, okay, early goal, this is going to be tough for us to come back from. I know Rosinha is going to figure a way out, figure a way back into the game at some point. And I kind of saw this in Enzo Maresca a little bit too. I'm not going to just say this is some new revelation, but
Look at the attack.
yeah.
You replace Nicholas Jackson with Pedro, and you look at the wingers and you look at this midfield, you should get at least 12 chances a game.
Mm-hmm.
Easy chances. Nicholas used to miss a bunch, so granted.
Fair.
So now you have someone that is consistent in goals, but you have consistent goal scoring players.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the goals are gonna come. That's proven. Like you just look at your player personnel; they're all goal hungry guys, not just dependent upon one person. And it to the to the interesting side of it though is that that has hurt Cole Palmer now
Yeah.
because now it is more attention on these other players, and Cole Palmer hasn't had the season he's had because of inconsistency.
Well, to be fair to Cole Palmer, even though he isn't scoring like he used to, I think his role on that team is still very it's still very imperative to have somebody like Cole Palmer. Even if he's not scoring, he's distributing, but he distributes the ball so well. And I don't think that him not scoring is a lack of production on his part. I think his production is more than scoring for Chelsea's at times, especially if they want to play him. They can play him maybe further back in the attacking third, but
No, they
allow
can't.
him
No,
to
they
let
can't.
somebody else. He is very well astute, and he can easily be a distributor of the ball as
No, he
well as
can't.
he can. I 100%
Cole
believe.
Palmer's game is attacking and attacking only. He cannot do what Enzo does. He cannot do, put it this way. If you choosing Cole Palmer right now over let's just put Rogers, let's say Foden, let's say Jude, It ain't happening.
I would never put him over those guys. Absolutely
But
not.
that's the conversation that you're going to have when it comes time to bigger situations for national teams. When you look at his, even club wise, he's not been consistent enough. Like even Pedro can play his position right now.
I agree with you. I mean, Pedro's playing out of his mind.
Right, he's having a year.
Recently. Yeah, he's having a good time. But I just think that the Cole Palmer narrative is he has to score to prove his worth. I don't
He doesn't have to score.
I don't necessarily believe that. I think his ability to play make is there, and I think that's enough. I want to say it's enough. He does need to score goals, but when he's not scoring goals, he can also play make.
But not from deeper.
I think he could do it deeper.
Oh,
you gotta give the guy a chance.
You trip.
But what do you make of Chelsea? Do you think they're gonna get to the where we kind of already hit?
I think they're gonna finish top 4.
Yeah,
I think Chelsea will be top 4. I think right now, like I said, I think Liverpool is the odd situation out, and I think it's a big blow up. I think they lose one more match, they tie another match, that whole team blows up at the end of the season, and they're back to rebuilding again.
And then comes Osimhen.
Yeah, I think I said it before. I said I think Osimhen goes. I think Salah is out, and you put that 3-headed monster of 3 crazy attackers with Isaac Itakite and Osimhen. That is a crazy stacked lineup.
I still have my doubts about that, but that's a hypothetical conversation for another day. Let's talk La Liga for a second, and we're gonna just basically blend both of the games that we're gonna talk about into one, because we're gonna talk about Barcelona versus Real and today's match with Real Madrid versus Getafe. Let's start with Barcelona, Villarreal, and not really much to talk about in that game other than Lamine Yamal's hat trick, but I want to take time to discuss it. His first hat trick. He's only 18 years old now. Was he 19? Is he not? He's 19 now, right?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Hold on, let me.
He can't buy liquor.
He's a child.
He can't buy a pack of cigarettes.
yeah. Lamine. But his first hat trick. 18 years old. He's still 18 years old. July 13th, he turns 19. But first hat trick. Great showing by him. Do you think this is him getting that metaphorical monkey off of his back in terms of like the pressure? I feel like that hat trick, even though it's Villarreal and it's Lamine Yamal, I think that hat trick does kind of give us a little bit more of like okay, this guy is a player. He can play. He can score when he needs to. I feel like a lot of people have said he's not consistent enough for them. He's not good enough for him. Again, 18 years old. But what do you make of his hat trick, and what do you make of him moving forward from here?
I think people are looking at Lamine Yamal like he's a microwave. They expect like he's a microwave.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They look at it like, oh, he's supposed to be this phenomenon every time he plays, and it's like the phenomenon years are over. No one can do what Messi has done and Ronaldo has done. So we need to stop thinking along those lines. Just because a player wears a 10 for Barcelona, they're not Messi. No one can do whatever he did at his age during that time frame. And I think Lamine Yamal, he's a great attacking player. He's isolation, he's gonna cook whoever's in front of him. That is already a task within itself. His game is more about creating and playmaking than it is about goal scoring. And people are so caught up in goal scoring, and that's not his game all the way. He's not putting up 30 plus goals. It ain't happening right now. He's 18 years old. Like he said, you think I'm going to score a hat trick every time I play?
Yeah.
He got Neymar and Suarez out there with him.
And I mean, fair. The reality is they expect a lot out of him. But I will say this, seeing that game and just seeing how he's been playing recently, I understand he's not Messi, but I do see flashes of Messi and Neymar within him in terms of his play style. Not saying he's as good as them, but I feel like he's a good combination of both of those players in terms of how he plays. And I do believe that there is potential for him to become a player that great. But I feel like it's just right now, since he came out there at 16 years old, it's always been, if you're not Messi today, you're not going to be Messi tomorrow. And I feel like we have to let that happen on its own in a sense, because he did come into the fray a lot earlier than Lionel Messi, and people don't really talk about that.
It's not a conversation to have. I think every time we see a teenager score, Messi or Mbappe.
Mm-hmm.
And people forget like Neymar was doing this at the same
100%.
in
Yeah.
Brazil. And
Yeah.
so it's like the chances of finding a player to do what he's doing are very slim. And he's doing it at a very high level against great players. It's not like he's hiding in any big game.
Yeah.
And
He's
that
there.
part I give him, he shows up every single game. And he's on a stacked Barcelona squad that's just scoring goals for fun.
Yeah.
So he's not under this pressure or this microscope of, oh, you got to score every time. He's not worried about that. He's trying to beat his guy, make him do his thing and pass it. He's like, yo, I got Rafinha, I got Pedri, I got Lewandowski, I got different players I could feed. I'm not worried about getting a hat trick every game. I'm just trying to play the game. I'm
Mm-hmm.
having pure fun. I think people lose sight that when, and this is just the reality, Messi was on a very already stacked team. You start your first season with Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o,
Yeah.
already won
There's,
Player of the Year,
there's only
just
one way that
saying
can
he's
go.
not going to. Right. You had to put it this way. You walk into a team with a bench player like I said, I'm not trying to score goals anymore.
Yeah.
Like legit, he was a one man show. You came in and then you became the one man show, but you were a part of a team that was already well established. You had Xavi and Iniesta giving you whatever you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Neymar to be your sidekick and Suarez. I think it's not the same team, nor is it his game to go score that many goals a game or that just want to score like that. It's just
Yeah.
not who he is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you on that, but I do believe that there is this he is the leader of this team, but I also think that a portion of this is he the guy comes from the fact that they gave this 10 jersey to somebody else in Ansu Fati and it did not work out. So now it's like the pressure becomes this guy has to be the 10 that works out for us because they don't want to keep giving that 10 jersey out and not having those expectations of Messi.
Well, who
So
told him to give it to Fati in the first place?
I mean, they may have given it to him early, but I mean, at the time, you have to be honest. They gave it to
He
him.
was not at that level. It sounded good.
It
That's like
sounded good.
saying, let's give the 10 to Boyan. He
Yeah.
wasn't ready for it. Let's give the 10 to Giovanni Dos Santos. He wasn't ready for it. So let's be real.
Yeah.
Is Pedri wearing 10?
No, he's not. I don't think he'll ever wear 10. I
Is
don't think
Gavi wearing 10?
Hey, like I
The
said,
only player who could have worn 10 in Barca history outside of Messi during that whole time frame is Thiago Alcantara. Anybody else is falling short.
I mean, there's a debate there.
There's no debate there.
But let's move on to Real Madrid Getafe. And they lost 1-0 today against Getafe and they are now 4 points behind Barcelona. What do you make of the race right now? Do you think they can get back in it? Do you think Barcelona drops a couple points to bring this
Arbeloa is
close?
not the coach.
No?
No.
Expand on that.
He's just not the coach. He doesn't look like the coach. He doesn't look like the guy that's going to lead that team. So pretty much the players are on their own devices trying to figure it out. Arbeloa hasn't done anything to change anything from when Xavi left. He hasn't implemented a style of play. He hasn't done anything where you're like, okay, I can see a difference. If he would have said, okay, Rodrigo, you and Artigula run the middle of the park. We're going to put somebody else out wide. Schwamini and Kamavinga, we're going to put Kamavinga at left back. Schwamini run the middle of the park. Or Schwamini go to the bench. Kamavinga run the six. He hasn't done that. So what are we to respect out of this man and expect out of him if he can't lead them properly? Like this is going to be a season lost because they made a change and they hired a coach that didn't fit.
So where do you place the blame on that coaching change? Do you put that on Mbappe or who do you put this on at this point?
No, it's just Florentino for sure. He should never even bought. The thing about it is, you don't go and buy Xabi Alonso from the beginning.
Why not?
Xabi Alonso is not a manager; he's a coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a tactical coach, so he's going to want to instruct and run a system and run a style of play. That's not the Madrid way. They were better off going to find Rafa Benitez again or bringing in, Frank Rijkaard or somebody to just
I haven't
manage
heard
the
that
team
name
in
in a
the
while.
meantime. Right, but or even bring in Henry. Let Henry just manage it or brings the down back and say, look, just manage the team for us right now.
Okay. So what do you think his trajectory is for this team after this season? Do you think he stays through next season?
Arbeloa?
Yeah.
Arbeloa, he gone.
He's
Season
gone?
finish, he gone before he gone. Season finish, he back on the youth squad.
So you don't give him a chance to try and figure it out? Because
What are we giving him?
I'm of the thought that I'm always of the thought when a coach comes in halfway through, you give them the next season to at least try to figure, at least the beginning of the first half of the season, to try and pull something together.
If it was any other club, yes, but we're talking Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give a trial and error coach Kylian Mbappe and all these players in their prime.
That's fair. That is a very fair statement.
And that's just the reality. That's just the business.
Oh, well, we shall see. Well, that has been another episode of World Soccer Daily and our Soccer Collective Original. You can subscribe everywhere. Where can they find you at, Dupe?
You find me at Player Position in Footballer Dupe 10 on Instagram. And yeah, I'm here. Check me out.
All right. We'll see you guys next episode. Until then, take care.
Peace.